Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Blair.
And I'm Kirsten, and we are
Mediocre content.
And happy Thursday to all of you.
Indeed.
It's hard to believe it's Thursday already, but I will not complain. Hi, Nat. How are you?
Welcome. Good. Congratulations, you're first in chat.
Nat, you didn't even say first. That's like the rule when you're first.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm not in the best of moods, guys. I'm so sorry.
She tired.
I'm tired. I gotten over one sickness just to come down with another one. But I can't compete with nature, so.
Also, we're not sponsored by Tito's, even though her sweatshirt says Tito's. I just want you guys to know that.
But can you imagine? Tyler would be thrilled.
Oh my God. So would Chris, to be honest.
Really? So Tito's.
Shout out.
If you're looking for someone to sponsor.
We do drink the alcoholic potato water here, so.
Yes. Oh, why are you grumpy?
Don't talk to you about yourself like that.
Real. Oy, oy, oy. I didn't even read it as trigger warning instead of don't worry. Trigger warning. I'm a grumpy bitch. I should have that on like right up here.
Yeah, on your forehead right here.
Trigger warning, grumpy bitch.
It's true.
Well, today we have a special-ish episode, sort of. Our background music is going to be super lovely and nice. Let's see. Nice try, Nat. Hopefully you can hear it, but it is Pokemon Lo-Fi, which is applicable to today's pod. But before we get started, I say this sometimes, we never do the thingies, the commands. Here we go. All right, so
you can do it.
Mediocre. Oh, we're only 10%. All right, we're only 10% mediocre. Not really living up to our name very well.
Well, and we've had, knock on wood, no technical difficulties today so far.
That's
so
true. And your
this is exciting.
So clear, not
Thank
pixelated.
Thank you.
Wood, you know.
Enjoy my beautiful face while it lasts.
Suddenly she eats out. 57% Smarty Pants. That's, it's over half. We got 5 stars, 5 out of 5. Yes, Salem is here.
No, this is Jinx.
Sorry.
Jinx is here.
You know what? I don't recognize their buttholes yet. I gotta get better at that.
It's fine. It's a common mistake.
Oh, we're a 1 on the freshness scale. Ironic because I did take a shower before this.
I was gonna say I worked out, so maybe we cancel each other out.
Blair.
What?
How dare you compete with my smell?
I didn't have time to shower, okay? We had a deadline.
This is the scent of a killer, Bella.
Stop. Another Edward is wimpy prince, okay?
Oh my god. Wimpy prince.
Bella's like, you smell good. He's like, no, I don't.
Don't smell me. I wish Brandy were here. I don't know if she's gonna pop in or not, but if she does, we'll keep our eyes peeled. Also,
yes, we will.
Fun fact, even though you look fantastic, my bitrate is unstable.
Great. So we're just trading off today.
Just like my mood. If we drop, please stay with us. We'll tell you when to refresh. It's just the freaking vibes today, unfortunately.
It is.
On that note, though, I guess we'll go ahead and get ye old disclaimer started, if you'd like to.
Sure.
There.
Of course. It is basically my job.
It is.
Let me see here. So, if you've been here for any length of time, you know we don't really know what we're talking about. Jinx is going to proceed to hit me with his tail.
In your
but we don't really know what we're talking about most of the time. We like to think we do, and we try really hard to talk about things that are credible and know what we're talking about. But sometimes we don't. So let us know in chat if you know something we don't know, and we'll correct ourselves / have a conversation about it, because that's what this is for.
Very true. And also, we're going to go... Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. On that note, we will also go ahead and get into our good news. And for some reason, it's decided that is the side that I'm posting it on. Give me one moment.
Oh.
You're right? It's weird. I don't know why it's doing this to me today. Because, you know why? Because it knows I'm not in the mood.
It do.
It do.
It senses your discomfort.
Wait, it's saying, oh, there we go. All right, cool.
Hi, Abby. What's up?
Abby, how are you? Okay, here we go. That's better. Cool. I don't want studio mode. Gosh, dang it. Okay.
Are you going to sit down or what?
No.
I need you to sit down. Mm-hmm.
Also, for those of you who have not read the title yet, we will be talking about the history in general of gaming consoles, so that's why it looks the way that it looks.
It's cute. It has a cute little pixelated mushroom.
It do. Oh, we're good. I'm glad to hear you're doing good, Abby.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good news. Let's go.
Let's go. That was terrible. I'm sorry for any Italian people I just offended.
It wasn't great, no.
No, it was not good.
Mm.
All right, wait, hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
How is this? I'm confused.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, there's the text. Okay. I'm like, what? How? I don't know. Cannot read this.
Nailed it. Oh, you're
Okay.
sick. Oh, I hope you feel better soon. Gross.
Jinx is here to make you feel better.
He's so good at it.
You're so good. Okay. Good news. Got it.
Good news.
All right. So,
He's determined to be in your mouth.
don't say it like that. That's
Sorry.
weird.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So this is the good news. Everyone can read the title. Moving on to the next slide. All right. Handheld consoles are the future of gaming, though I would argue they were already fantastic coming from my Game Boy Color Advance. Jinx, I swear to God. Go. There we go. Stay right there.
Yeah.
There you go. Sit right there. You can show the whole world your butthole. Anyway.
Beautiful. That's not TOS approved, Jinx.
Okay. Let me start one more time.
That's fine. I put in the parentheses.
Yes.
Apologize.
So I'm going to read to you from Kirsten's perspective while Kirsten sits here.
That sounds great.
All right. Handheld consoles are the future of gaming, though I would argue that they're already fantastic coming from my Game Boy Color Advanced and SP days, but okay. But there are reasons the category hasn't exploded yet. It hasn't?
Right.
Am I behind? I
Don't
feel like I'm
even-
behind.
I had a lot of issues with this article, but it was game related, so I just went with it.
The Nintendo Switch is locked down.
I
Windows
agree.
can be cumbersome. And Valve, what is Valve? Valve's pick up and play Steam OS hasn't
it's-
escaped the Steam Deck. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
You got there in the
All
end.
right. What if there were an Android of gaming, an OS you could install on any capable hardware to get a controller-friendly PC experience? Imagine an Epic deck that could actually play Fortnite, a 5G deck for cellular carriers, or maybe a PlayStation deck for Sony's growing PC ambitions. Today, Playtron is coming out of stealth with 10 million in funding, roughly 18 employees, and a plan to challenge Microsoft, Valve, and Apple for the next 100 million gamers. And after seeing a stack of internal planning documents speaking to Playtron's allies and trying an early alpha, I'm cautiously optimistic. This is not Kirsten. She is not cautiously optimistic.
I am not.
It begins with a Linux-based operating system that plays Windows games, just like the Steam Deck, except this one isn't tied to Steam. Games you've bought from the Epic Games Store are first-class citizens too. Hi.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I changed it. Sorry.
Oh, thanks. Today, in early alpha form, it doesn't look all that exciting. A lightweight OS that replaces Windows or Steam OS on your existing handheld gaming PC with fewer features and compatible games than its peers. While it definitely played Death Stranding, Dave the Diver, and hours of Balatro,
Sure.
just as well as my Steam Deck, not all games that work there necessarily work here yet. But within a year, Playtron believes it'll be competing with Windows as the OS for gaming handhelds. Ayanio
I think so.
Plans to ship a native Playtron handheld by the end of 2024. Playtron will cost companies a fraction of the price of Windows, around $10 per handheld instead of $80. And he says games like Fortnite and Roblox shouldn't have to fear hackers reverse engineering their anti-cheat solutions because its Fedora Silverblue base has an immutable file system. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's just bringing all the consoles together.
That's nice of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Playtron isn't just looking at handhelds, by the way. It imagines every laptop, tablet, phone, TV, and car becoming at least a part-time gaming machine. That's ambitious.
The car in particular.
Yeah, right.
A little too
Remember,
ambitious.
right. Remember Apple's journey to bring games to its own ARM-based silicon? No, I don't actually.
Thanks for asking.
McMaster says he's hired the developer behind Box 86 to bring Windows games to the efficient ARM-based silicon, potentially getting us out of the rut where today's portable PCs max out at 2 to 3 hours of AAA gaming battery life. Darn.
No, darn.
I would love to spend 8 hours a day gaming on my handheld console. They've already got The Witcher 3 running on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8.
It's true. It's true.
So sorry, but it sounds like garbage. Gen 3 smartphone, admittedly at under 30 FPS with somewhat potatoy graphics.
You can find
That's
a video
the technical
of it
term.
on the article as well.
But while Qualcomm has been talking a big game about its Snapdragon X Elite chips coming this summer, both McMaster and Qualcomm exec Micah Knapp, which is probably not how you pronounce it. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Micah Knapp.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be okay. See, it's funny. Suggest it might take a couple more years for ARM to match x86 for gaming.
I would highly...
Please don't make me read anymore.
And next page. I'm just kidding. No, look. It's a good concept. Basically, they're trying to take all the different individual pieces of gaming and combine them into one. However, I predict the problem is buy-in from these larger companies, right? Because realistically, Windows with the Steam Deck, and then you've got PS5 only compatible and Xbox only compatible, etc., Switch only compatible. It just doesn't lend itself to an easy task. So to take it on is
well, and there's
admirable.
no incentive
Right.
either for
the
these
ga-
companies.
Especially if it's going to be cheaper or on cheaper platforms or available more readily. Nobody wants that.
Well, and they have their dedicated audience already.
They
Like,
do.
why do they care? Right.
And that's the thing. Even if it would be better for the gamer, it's not ideal for the companies that
For
run it.
capitalism.
Yay! But I thought at least it was an interesting concept and obviously related to gaming and consoles, which is exactly what this group of topics is going to be on. So similar to our other ones. We'll have a little bit of history, and then we'll go into nostalgia mode, which is my favorite part. Hopefully it's one of y'all's favorite parts too, because I love to reminisce.
Indeed.
And that's fun. So, game on. These are in segments, so this first slide is just about the early days of game. And also, little caveat, it's just console gaming. It's not video games in general. It's not like PC specific or anything. It's literally like we're talking Switch, PS5, those kinds of things. So, believe it or not, video games got their start in the research labs of scientists. In 1952, for instance, British professor A.S. Douglas created OXO, also known as Noughts and Crosses or Tic-Tac-Toe, as part of his doctoral dissertation at the University of Cambridge, which is interesting. And in 1958, William Higginbotham, which is quite the last name.
I love that last name.
Beautiful last name. Created Tennis for Two on a large analog computer and connected oscilloscope screen for the annual Visitors' Day at the Brookhaven National Laboratory in Upton, New York. So it's pretty cool that it got its start actually with scientists for the most part. As scientists, it's cool. It's fun. And then in 1962, Steve Russell at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology invented Space War, which was a computer-based space combat video game for the PDP-1, or the Programmed Data Processor 1, then a cutting-edge computer mostly found at universities. It was the first video game that could be played on multiple computer installations.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I love how it went from tic-tac-toe to space lasers.
Who isn't interested in space lasers, really, you know?
Yeah.
So since the majority of people that owned these in the earlier days were scientists in universities or laboratories, the concept of playing these games at home kind of took off the community of gaming and the console creation. In 1967, developers at Sanders Association Inc., led by Ralph Baer, invented a prototype multiplayer, multi-program video game system that could be played on a television. It was known as the Brown Box, and Baer, who's sometimes referred to as the father of video games, licensed his device to Magnavox, which sold the system to consumers as the Odyssey, which was the first game or video game home console in 1972.
Okay.
Which is great. Took a while to get there. Took like 10 years or so. Over the next few years, the primitive Odyssey console would commercially fizzle and die out. Sag. Yet, one of the Odyssey's 28 games was the inspiration for Atari's Pong, which was the first arcade video game, which the company released in 1972. In 1975, Atari released a home version of Pong, which was as successful as its arcade counterpart, and Magnavox, along with Sanders Associates, would eventually sue Atari for copyright infringement. Atari settled and became an Odyssey licensee, and over the next 20 years, Magnavox went on to win more than $100 million in copyright lawsuits related to the Odyssey and its video game patents.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Good for them.
Yeah, I guess so.
They were like, we made this and we can prove it.
Gold line in my pockets.
Mm-hmm.
In 1977, Atari would release the Atari 2600, also known as the Video Computer System, which was a home console featuring joysticks and interchangeable game cartridges that played multicolored games, effectively kicking off the second generation of the video game consoles. The video game industry had a few notable milestones in the late 1970s and early 1980s, including the release of the Space Invaders arcade game, 1978, the launch of Activision, which is something that's still active today, the first third-party...
They make Tony Hawk games.
Yeah, exactly. They were the first third-party game developer, which developed software without making consoles or arcade cabinets. They just make the software itself, and that was in 1979. The introduction to the United States of Japan's hugely popular Pac-Man, which my mom is an absolute fan of. Nintendo's creation of Donkey Kong, which I love, which introduced the world to the character Mario, and Microsoft's release of its first flight simulator game.
Boring.
Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute.
The other ones have cool characters, and you just have a flight simulator? Lame.
Okay, I cannot lie. I wish Chris was here right now because he would 100% remember this. But we actually had a trucking simulator computer game.
Stop.
So we would actually like, you would pretend to like drive an 18-wheeler truck around the land and
That's nice.
make deliveries. Clearly, I didn't go very far with it. Anyway, do you want to read the next part?
Sure. So in 1983, the North American video game industry experienced a major crash due to a number of factors, including an oversaturated game console market, competition from computer gaming, and a surplus of overhyped low-quality games, such as the famous E.T. and Atari game based on the movie, and often considered the worst game ever created. Now I'm curious.
I know, right?
Lasting a couple of years, the crash led to the bankruptcy of several home computer and video game console companies. The video game home industry began to recover in 1985 when the Nintendo, called Famicom in Japan, came to the United States. It had improved 8-bit graphics, colors, sounds, gameplay over previous consoles. So Nintendo, a Japanese company, obviously, that began as a playing card manufacturer in 1889, which is cool. I didn't know that. Released a number of important video game franchises still around today, such as the classic Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, and Metroid.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that
Tyler's-
one.
Tyler's OG favorite game. Yeah.
Wow, he's old.
I mean, yes. Yes. Anyway.
Additionally, Nintendo imposed various regulations on third-party games developed for its system, helping to combat rushed low-quality software. Third-party developers released many other long-lasting franchises, such as Capcom's Mega Man, Konami's Castlevania, Square's Final Fantasy, and Enix's Dragon Quest. In 1989, Nintendo made waves again by popularizing handheld gaming with the release of its 8-bit Game Boy video game device and often bundled game Tetris. Over the next 25 years, Nintendo would release a number of successful successors, which is, why would you phrase it like that?
Successful successors.
To the Game Boy, including the Game Boy Color in 1998, Nintendo DS in 2004, and Nintendo 3DS in 2011.
Hi, Menial. How are you? Yes, Mega Man and Tetris. We're talking about video games, as you can tell, obviously. I love you so much.
Also, in 1989, Sega released its 16-bit Genesis console in North America as a successor to its 1986 Sega Master System, which failed to adequately compete with Nintendo, basically.
Yeah.
With its technological superiority to the Nintendo clever marketing and the 1991 release of the Sonic the Hedgehog game, the Genesis made significant headway against its older rival. In 1991, Nintendo released its 16-bit Super Nintendo console in North America, launching the first real console war, quotation marks included. The early to mid 1990s, saw the release of a wealth of popular games on both consoles, including new franchises such as Street Fighter II, Mortal Kombat, and fighting game a fighting game that depicted blood and gore of the Genesis version of the game in response to the violent game, as well as congressional hearings about violent video games, which has been going on ever since then. Sega created the Video Game Rating Council in 1993 to provide descriptive labeling for every game sold in the Sega home console. The council later gives rise to the industry-wide entertainment software rating board, which is still used today to rate video games based on content, and that's E for everyone.
We are rated E for everyone.
Debatable, but sure.
Okay.
All right. In the mid 1990s, video games leaped to the big screen with the release of Super Mario Brothers live action movie in 1993, followed by Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Over the next 2 years, numerous movies based on video games have been released since. With much larger library of games, lower price point, and successful marketing, the Genesis had leapfrogged ahead of the Nintendo in North America by this time, but Sega was unable to find similar success in Japan.
Sag. Yeah, these hands are E for everyone.
That's right.
Bop, bop. So,
I
can
yes.
do the next part if you'd like.
Okay.
This is the age of 3D. So all of those were like the 2D games, and this next phase is when we start to get a little more developmentally complex. With a leap in computer technology, the 5th generation of video games ushered in the three-dimensional era of gaming. In 1995, Sega released in North America its Saturn system, which was the first 32-bit console that played games on CDs rather than cartridges, 5 months ahead of schedule. This move was to beat Sony's first foray into video games, which was the PlayStation, of course, which sold for $100 less than the Saturn when it launched later that year. The following year, Nintendo released its cartridge-based 64-bit system, the Nintendo 64, though Sega and Nintendo each released their fair share of highly rated, on-brand 3D titles, such as Virtua Fighter or the Saturn and Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64. The established video game companies couldn't compete with Sony's strong third-party support, which helped the PlayStation secure numerous exclusive titles. Simply put, Sony dominated the video game market and would continue to do so into the next generation. In fact, the PlayStation 2, released in 2000 and able to play original PlayStation games, would become the best-selling game console of all time. Insane.
We had one.
Did you really?
We had a PlayStation 2. Yeah.
Nice.
That was our first gaming console for the house.
Oh, Spyro. Yeah, Spyro is great.
Spyro's so good.
It
I
is.
love Spyro.
The PlayStation 2, which was the first console that used DVDs, went up against the Sega Dreamcast, released in 1999, and the Nintendo GameCube 2001, and Microsoft Xbox in 2001 as well. The Dreamcast, considered by many to be ahead of its time and one of the greatest consoles ever made for several reasons, including its capability for online gaming, which was a new thing, was a commercial flop that ended Sega's console efforts. Sega pulled the plug on the system in 2001, becoming a third-party software company henceforth. Sega Dreamcast had Sonic Adventure. Incredible. It is incredible. And so now we're kind of in the modern era, right? So 2005 and 2006, we had the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and the Nintendo Wii, which kicked off what was considered the modern age of high-def gaming. Though the PlayStation 3, the only system at the time to play Blu-rays, was successful in its own right, Sony for the first time faced stiff competition from its rivals. The Xbox 360, which had similar graphics capabilities to the PlayStation 3, was lauded for its online gaming ecosystem and won far more Game Critics awards than the other platforms in 2007.
And that is when we switched to Xbox in my household.
We know the system. It also featured the Microsoft Kinect, a state-of-the-art motion capture system that offered a different way to play video games, which my mom actually had, and it was very creepy because it would say, "Hello, Karen," or something like that. It was very awkward and I hated it. It would like literally be able to watch you.
I always forget that your mom is also a Karen because my mom's a Karen too.
Oh, that's right. Double Karen. Ah!
We are the daughters of Karen.
We are literal Karens. And despite being technologically inferior to the other two systems, the Wii trounced its competition in sales. Its motion-sensitive remotes made gaming more active than ever before, even though I sat on the couch to bowl, helping its appeal to a much larger slice of the general public, including people in retirement homes.
Also, the Wii thought everybody was fat. Like nobody, nobody was safe
Did you
from
ever get
the Wii.
scale? I could never.
I tried it once at a friend's house. We never had one,
Yeah.
but I played it at because all my friends had one, so we just played it there, and it was devastating.
Rolling around in the speed of sound. The Wii was great. I liked the Wii. The sensor.
I think they could have picked a better name.
Wii. You don't think that's great?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gave me the ick when I first heard it, and still gives me the ick.
To this day, it's so fun just to make a new me every time.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of the decade and the beginning of the next, though, video games spread to social media platforms like Facebook, which I actually played games on that one as well. I'm sure most of us did. And mobile devices like the iPhone, reaching a more casual gaming audience. Rovio, the company behind the Angry Birds mobile device game and later Angry Birds animated movie, reportedly made a whopping $200 million in 2012.
That's crazy.
Yes, I did love Farmville and Pet City. That was my other one that I really liked. Did you play Farmville on Facebook?
I did for a brief period of time. I've never, and this is going to shock a lot of you, I've never been a game girly. I just never.
Don't say it.
I know. I know it. I've been so busy with so many other things. I just haven't had the time.
It's fair.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's really just because I don't know. I've just never had a ton of interest. I'm getting into games more as an adult.
That's the best time to do it because you got adult money.
Right.
Yeah.
And my brother was always the one who monopolized the console anyway. So I never, and he just wanted to play Call of Duty. So it, whatever.
It's like people who think it's just because they haven't played with the right people.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's fair. In 2011, Skylanders: Spyro's Adventure brought video games into the physical world. The game required players to place plastic toy figures sold separately onto an accessory which reads the toy's NFC tags to bring the characters into the game, which is super cool. You could do that now with amiibo cards for Animal Crossing, for example, on the Switch. The next few years would see several sequels and other toy video game hybrids such as Disney Infinity, which features Disney characters, which everyone loves. Yeah, amiibos, exactly. The 8th generation of video games began with the release of Nintendo's Wii U in 2012, followed by the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in 2013. Despite featuring a touchscreen remote control that allowed off-TV gaming and being able to play Wii games, the Wii U was a commercial failure, the opposite of its competition, and was discontinued in 2017. I never had a Wii U. I felt it was unnecessary.
Yeah, no, we didn't either.
In early 2017, Nintendo released its Wii U successor, the Nintendo Switch, holla holla, the only system to allow both television-based and handheld gaming. Microsoft released its 4K-ready console, the Xbox One X, in late 2017, and followed up in 2020 with the Xbox Series X and Series S. In 2020, Sony released PlayStation 5, which was, of course, the PlayStation 4 successor. With their new revamped consoles, both Sony and Microsoft currently have their sights set on virtual reality gaming, a technology that has the potential to change the way players experience video games. So, with all of that lovely information, did we skip the GameCube, the most indestructible game console? Don't you worry. I think we cover it in our nostalgic replay. So, literally, all this is a picture of the console and its name. And I figure if we know it, great, and we have content to talk about it, awesome. There wasn't a physical timeline of these, and they are in timeline order, technically. But if you ask me what the dates are, I would be remiss if I did not tell you I had no freaking clue at all.
I feel confident in my ability to at least mark when the 80s is over and then we move into the 90s and then to the 2000s, but that's about it.
No, that's fair. Also, some of these, I'm going to be very plain. I have no idea where, like, at all that they even existed. I will just say.
Okay.
And you may feel the same about some of these. Other ones, of course, I know the name, but just I wasn't part of the right generation to have interacted with it.
Correct.
So,
okay.
Here we go.
Cool.
The first one is that Magnavox Odyssey, which looks interesting. I like the cartridges that kind of look like a broken floppy disk.
I want to know if
a monstrosity.
like, it looks, first of all, it looks like a bunch of combs sitting there.
And like brushing their hair with
I really want to know if like the tooth of the comb part is like floppy or if it's
I would imagine it's
solid.
Pretty rigid.
Yeah.
It
looks kind of floppy.
With toasters connected.
Yeah.
You're about to make breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah. If you told me this was an early version of a waffle iron, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh. Pokemon Community Gaming. Thanks for the notice.
Oh,
well, it's already set as a moderator, so it's fine, I think. Thanks for interrupting, though, PCG. Appreciate.
Rude. Okay.
It's a good message, though. I had no idea that was happening. March 30th. That's like in a week.
Stop it right now.
Easter's is next weekend.
I don't know her.
Is Easter in the room with us? That's
no.
For the update. Perfect. So yeah, anyway, this is kind of a dinosaur, but it is one of the first, as you might imagine. This is the Atari Home Pong, which looks pretty freaking cool. I love the box.
I was gonna say the retro like design is super cute.
We love that. Pong, bruh. That's right.
Bruh.
And keep in mind, I probably should have prefaced this. Again, these are consoles that would physically plug into like a computer or TV monitor, depending on the timeline of them being released. So just like, obviously there's no screen on this contraption, right? You would plug it in and use another screen. I feel like
yes, Kirsten, we all know how consoles work. Thank you.
I just want to make it because
even I, the non-game girly,
but
knows how a console works.
It's not like a Switch, is my point. Like,
yes,
is what I mean. Like,
that is correct. It is also not like a Game Boy Color.
You mean yes, right? You mean into the HDMI port? Yeah.
Stop it right now.
Did
the TVs in the 70s even have an HDMI? It was auxiliary, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why if you see right here on the side where the cord is, that's obviously what would be used to plug in, and it is very different than HDMI.
A whole new meaning to throw it in the aux.
Throw it in the aux. Exactly. All right. This is one of the ones.
This looks like a tape recorder.
It does.
A very old answering machine.
Hello. Only playing on channel 3, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. This is one of the ones I didn't know what it was. Fairchild Channel F. It even sounds like a radio. Channel F. And I don't want to say what I think the controllers look like. I will say it's a little sus to me in this photo for some reason, now that I'm looking at it on the big screen. They look a little non-TOS approved in my eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. Something about the shape at the top. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Looks like a tape recorder from an FBI interrogation room. It does. Where were you on the night of the murder? Yeah, so I don't really know what this one is. The Atari 2600 looks like a new and improved tape recorder. It
does. It does indeed.
With a joystick, as if you're about
with
to do
a joystick.
secret missions with a drone or something. Murder. Yeah, it looks cool though. The the cartridges were massive. Yeah. Obviously. And you could pretend that you're a pilot with all the switches.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You could see too, apparently you could even decide whether you wanted it to display in color or black and white depending on your TV setup, which is fun. And you would use these switches to actually select things, apparently.
Very nice.
I love the little switches. Exactly, they're cute. This must be the inspiration for the Mimtimbo Switch. Yeah. The Mimtimbo. Speaking of Mimtimbo, it's a Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES. Classic looking. I never had one of these either, but I do know what they
No,
look
me
like.
neither.
Yeah.
I feel like my older cousins did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fair. How old are they?
They're old. They're like older millennials.
Damn!
All right.
I had one at my daycare when I was a baby. When she's just a baby. Yeah, that's awesome. I've never played with one of these, but it looks cool. And I have seen, shout out to BJ's, I guess, also not sponsored. But for Christmas, I actually got, my stepdad an old Atari that you could, again, plug into the TV with the actual, like, original, I say original lightly, but the original look of the joysticks. But also while I was there, they had like a whole section of retro box games and almost like like huge arcade looking consoles. And one of them was like a Pac-Man, and to this day I wish I could have bought it. It was like $70 because my mom loves that, but it was too expensive. But it reminded me of this in particular. During nap time, I would sneak out play games. Nap time. I do miss nap time.
Same.
Then there were these Tiger Electronics LCD handhelds, which again I do remember. These were specific to individual mini games almost for a genre, so like the Little Mermaid, Transformers that you see here. They couldn't really do anything else. Whatever the game and topic was on this game, that's all you would play.
We had one that was Connect 4, and it was fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You're telling me Tiger made these electronics? I am telling you Tiger made these electronics. Can you believe
That's right.
that? That's also a throwback. I also remember something similar being in McDonald's Happy Meals at one point.
Yes. I agree.
Okay.
Nope, that's true.
Because I remember distinctly getting something similar to a Connect 4 style in this configuration.
Yep.
At some point.
A lot of mini Barbie dolls and
Beanie
the little
Babies.
handheld things. Yeah.
Yeah, and those were fun. I'm gonna be honest. Those
I
were one
agree.
of my favorites to get in a Happy Meal. So these are pretty cool. Then the Sega. This was the Sega Master System specifically. The controller looks kind of similar to the Nintendo, I would say. Ooh, a nice catch, Neil. But the console itself is actually getting smaller, which is cool.
Yeah, more compact.
Yeah. And sleeker in design. It's, one thing I'll say for like things that came out in like the 70s and 80s is it was extremely lively and had a lot of character to it. Nowadays, unless you buy like the console wraps or like a special edition of a console, they're kind of boring looking. Like, I don't know, you can add character.
This console that we're looking at right now is black.
It is, which is pretty boring.
And are you meaning like what other ones that looked better, do you think?
I think like the Atari 2600 had character to it.
Okay.
And I feel like even the Pong had somewhat of a bit of character to it. I feel like as consoles have gotten newer, the thing that I liked about the Switch, for example, is like the Joy-Cons come in all different colors, right? You can get all kinds of customizing. But again, the actual pieces that you buy that are pretty much stock, you have to get wrapped or like covers for them, kind of like cell phones, I guess.
Yeah.
Which you can do, but it'd be cool if they had a little bit more life automatically. I don't know.
The Nintendo Switch Lite has many colors. Yes, I have the blue one.
I have the pink one, of course.
Mm-hmm. I kind of regret not getting the full Switch, though.
I do miss the sauce remotes. The original Switch.
Yeah, well, so Chris has one. So technically
Yeah.
we both we have both, which
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we also have both, and I like having both. You know, it's nice.
yeah.
I also will get to it, but the other thing are the handhelds when they came out, all the different types of Game Boy colors, but we'll get into that. That was really wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to start off, this was the original Game Boy that came out, a relic, if you will. You could just different colored Joy-Cons to spice up the color, exactly. Or they have the wraps now that you can put on the black part. No backlight Game Boy, exactly.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know.
I have so many words. Okay, so first of all, the first handheld gaming console that I ever saw was the Game Boy Color in that like translucent purple color. And I have never seen a Game Boy, a regular Game Boy in person. But yes, and then with the Game Boy Advance, which we might be going over at some point. So I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll save my story until then.
Okay. Well, this was like OG, and you're right. Playing by street light, and squinting your eyes really hard to see anything past like 9 p.m. on this thing was insane. Then came the Super Nintendo. So this one also had controllers that you plug in. It wasn't a handheld. The cartridges were massive.
This is the OG. Blow in the console,
the
or not the console, but blow in the cartridge and it'll work better.
That's right. And ironically, it did.
Yes.
Because there was probably a bunch of lint and stuff in there. That controller looks way better. The controller does look way better. It's bigger. It's definitely more contoured to the hand as opposed to just the block that it originally started with. I think it even has more buttons because now you got the left and the right and a bunch of stuff over here. So
2-player games.
Yeah, 2-player games, which was also revolutionary, I'm sure. L&R buttons showing up, exactly. So this was a step up. And then you also have like the tried and true games that were coming out for the console that I think nostalgically a lot of people love still. This is another one I was not aware that they made, the Nintendo Virtual Boy. Which,
I'm sorry, what?
When you look at this up, and I highly recommend that you do, when you look at images of this thing, the people playing it look ridiculous. It looks like you're trying to play one of those large binocular systems that are outside.
Yeah.
That you put coins in. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
But for them, it was kind of revolutionary. Because it began the VR kind of world. This would probably make me ill.
Yeah. Have you ever played a game on a VR headset?
No, for the sole reason that I would probably be ill.
Fair.
Yeah. Have you? Like
the
Oculus?
Yeah, I played Beat Saber on the Oculus once, and it was cool.
Did you get sick?
It was weird, but it was cool. No, I didn't get sick, and it was fine.
Nice. That's super fun.
It's just like trippy. I don't know. Because it like covers your periphery too. So like, I don't know. It was kind of weird. I was afraid I was going to like ruin this guy's living room.
Honestly, it's a fair thing. I can't do it. Hi, Mom. Welcome. Yeah, Caden has one. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was the first of its kind or whatever. It's chill.
Yeah.
And then the Sony PlayStation. This is the evolution from cartridge to CDs, which was super fun. And the introduction to symbols as opposed to like letters for gaming on the actual controllers.
Yes. Not to be confused with Squid Game,
which
comes out much later.
This is definitely pre-Squid Games. My favorite part about CD systems, though, was unlike cartridges where you could just blow on it. You could blow on the CD and inside the CD player, but realistically, it probably got scratched and it's ruined forever, so.
It's true.
Sad. Have you heard the falsehoods that Sony spreads about the name of the bottom button? You mean the...
Like the X button?
What's the T, Minial? Yeah, what? No, I haven't heard about this. What is... What is the controversy? It's called the cross button?
No, it's the X button.
It's definitely an X.
It's X,
What?
square, triangle, circle.
Canonically, that's so dumb. Why would they not just say X?
They're dumb.
That is okay. It is clearly a triangle, a circle, a square, and an X. It's not even in the right orientation to be a cross.
Do you know what though?
Yeah.
They probably thought that they were onto something.
You think?
And clearly the consumer made that decision for them.
They're like, no. It's almost, if it was a cross, it's a cross that's like, just a little tired. I'm just drooped a little bit. But it's an X.
Yeah.
Suck it, Sony. I'm just kidding.
That's right.
And then the Nintendo 64, or N64, cross is sleepy. This also maintained the cartridges. It had freaking amazing controller looks, I would say. Brought the fun back.
Lots of space.
Lots of space. It's a smaller console, so you didn't have to worry about lugging around, and also had really fun games, apparently. We did not have a Nintendo 64, but we had friends that did have a Nintendo 64.
Yeah. What always, it was later in the game for me when I saw Nintendo 64, and the fact that you can hold it with like just the two, it like tripped me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I was born and raised on the PS2, and there's nothing else I can do about this.
This is so appropriate, Mom. She's playing Mario Superstars. I don't know. I've never held one, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, it was just weird.
It's also weird that the middle part also has a spike down the center.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can hold it.
Yeah.
You can hold the two, like the middle and the right one, or the middle and the left one.
Yeah. Mario Party original there, exactly. You would hate the look of the original Xbox controller.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I was never. It's bad. It's bad.
Now we're into my favorite part, and I would just like to say that we actually had this yellow Pokemon Game Boy Color, and I will out my grandmother immediately and say that this was working fine until she dropped it with vengeance and the sound got knocked into the next universe and never worked again.
Wow. Throwing grandma under the bus.
She was...
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
I don't even know what she was trying to do at the time. I just remember it falling to the floor and sadness ensued. But I have to imagine this is what you were referring to with the clear purple one?
Yes. So not the dark one, but the one on the very far right.
This one.
Yeah. It wasn't even ours. It was like my cousin's or something. And Philip was, I would say, maybe like 5 at the time.
Aww.
And immediately obsessed.
So cute.
Could not get over it.
I had no idea there were this many colors or this many
Neither did
styles,
I.
actually.
Neither did I.
I don't remember, like, my brain, and Mom is here, so she may say something if she's not caught up in Superstars, but I don't even remember being in the market and, like, going to look or purchase the one that we had either. But I feel like it would have been obvious if I was like out and about looking and I'm like, oh, I want this one, you know, but I don't,
because like the video game section at Walmart was like not developed in the way that it is now, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. They loved colors back then. They put it in the name of the console. Exactly. It's love it in color. Exactly. They were gifts. Oh, were they really? From who?
Maybe they were for Christmas.
Oh, maybe it was a Santa gift. I just remember one day I like woke up and we had a Game Boy. Like my memory.
Santa, see?
Santa, okay.
Santa loves you.
Thanks, Santa. Video game section was better at Toys R Us. Ooh, that's cool. This is one of our favorites. And then PS2, Tyler had one of these. You said
this was our first video game console.
Nice.
We had, let's see, we had one of the Crash games. We had Gran Turismo. We had and then we had a bunch of Tony Hawk. We did eventually get Dance Dance Revolution. Woo. And Guitar Hero.
Nice.
Yeah.
Loved Guitar Hero. We had
Mm-hmm.
that for the Xbox.
Yeah, and then we moved into the Xbox and got Mm-hmm.
Guitar Hero was a freaking staple in our house, and it eventually moved on to freaking Rock Band. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony Hawk shaping the music preferences of a generation.
Oh my, like there, I'll be out in the supermarket or whatever and just like hear this random song. I'm like, how do I know this? And then it's because I watched my brother play Tony Hawk for hours,
so
and that's how I know. Also, Guitar Hero for that as well.
Because my music was expanded into all these different genres because of Guitar Hero. Yeah. Now there's songs I only know.
Yeah. Oh, and we had this like Tiger Woods golf game as well. And the music on that like slapped.
Really?
It was so good. It was like shockingly, it was so good.
Well, in a very American move, I had a hunting game.
Shocker.
I think it was actually for the Wii, and it came.
How is it that I lived more south in Virginia than you, and I didn't have a hunting game, but here you are?
I think we also had like a big fishing game or something as well. Also not surprising.
Not shocking.
And then Game Boy Advance. I never had a Game Boy Advance. Tyler does. We actually still have it. Yes, the Bass Pro one, in fact, Miniel. Tyler has one of these. It's still in our gaming box. But I never had one of this style.
Yeah, we never had one either. Again, we had like close friends who had these, and they also had the little light that went over it, that magnified, and that was fancy pants. And Philip started the Game Boy trend for us with a Game Boy SP.
That's the one that we had, and the great thing about those is they played these games in addition to the new ones.
In addition to the new ones, right? And that's
phenomenal.
The kind of thing I think my parents were like, "Yes, this will work perfectly."
Exactly. Original Xbox. Tyler also had this one. I'm assuming this is also the controller you hated.
Yeah, still not a fan.
The flip phone of Game Boys. Exactly.
Yeah, I can't.
This thing was heavy and bulky, by the way.
Yeah.
Massive. It's yeah, but this you could play with 4 players, which was fun.
Right. That was the like the big thing, I think.
There's an even older one. Oh, I guarantee there's an even older one. No, that's actually not the right controller. Yeah. Well, it's somewhere in there, but I'm sure it's just as dreadful. Yeah, there's not much to say, I guess, because like Xbox started to get really exciting and wonderful too. So, yeah, it's even chunkier. Chunk.
Yucky.
And then Miniel, this one's for you, GameCube, with another controller Blair would probably hate.
In fact, I do. Yeah.
As Blair gets swapped in the face, yeah, every time.
Literally every time.
Star of the show.
He's right here now, so hopefully he'll like calm down.
He just wants to put his tail in your mouth again.
Ugh.
Did you know the GameCube can be dropped from a roof and still work perfectly? I'm sorry, that sounds a little personal.
Have you tested it out? Do we know for sure?
I feel like
are these facts?
These might be facts. I love that it's a physical cube. That's super fun. There's a video online. We could probably look that up after this then. I never had one of these either though.
Yeah, neither did we.
Yeah. It was designed to be child.
I remember though in like grade school, people were already getting into Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's probably true. That makes sense.
Because that was a GameCube game.
This was a grand console. Very fun. Animal Crossing original. Yeah.
Yeah.
All pixelated. Pikmin. You know, I have been told that I should play Pikmin on the Switch. I think Quip is the one that was like, you should do that. Let me know if you agree. Because I've never played one of those games either. Okay. Handhelds. Again, Nintendo DS, the original.
Yes.
I don't know
Philip,
that we had the original.
Philip had the blue original, and then also the SP in blue.
Nice. I don't think we had this one. I don't remember though. I think ours maybe started at the like light or 3DS or something.
I was gonna say my first that gaming console that was like the handheld that was my own was the DS Lite. And I played exclusively Nintendogs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
2 screens, so cool. And one of them you could use a stylus on.
Right. That was the other cool thing. And you could like message people.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
360. Now, we did have this, and Tyler and I actually had this for a while too, and we used to game on it as well. I liked this console.
I feel like most people use this for DVDs. Is that wrong?
No, we use our current Xbox for this.
For DVDs, yeah.
Yeah. If we want to watch our DVDs, that's what we play it on. It's just so easy. And as a broke college kid, it was also super wonderful to be like, I can game and watch movies.
I think this is what Philip currently has and like stopped collecting game, like, you know, stopped really like playing after that.
Yeah. It's a good console to end on if you had to.
Yeah.
Red Rings of Death aplenty. Oh no.
Oh yeah. It's similar to the spinning wheel Beach Ball of Doom on a Mac computer.
Yeah. That's a sad day. Nintendo Wii. Super wonderful. Did you hear about that though? I haven't heard about that. No. Feel free to tell us though. I like the tea that you're dropping. I liked the Wii 2 as well because you could be absolutely ridiculous with the sensor in the tennis games.
Yes.
Just whipping that thing around.
The tennis game was super fun.
Yes.
I did play Just Dance a couple of times, which was crazy.
What? It used really cheap parts during the original release so they would melt when overheating and the console would brick. Oh no.
Brick.
I'm bricking. Oh, what a weird phrase. Big Bro Muse was amazing at bowling. He was amazing at bowling, and I wish he was in chat right now, but he's not. And actually, neither brother are in chat to defend themselves, so we can say whatever the heck we want.
It's true. It's true.
Because of what they extended all the warranty. Well, they should extend all the warranties.
Yeah.
I would argue that Big Bro Moose is also good at physically bowling as well. He actually had like his own ball. I'm sure he still has it, but he had his own.
It extends to the physical world as well,
which is so cool and so fun. I think he actually did a little bit of. I remember he did like training because my stepdad does it or did it. I don't know that he still does it, but he did also bowling league and stuff like that. I think he ended up doing it with him at some point. I had my console replaced 3 times. That's insane. Had it packaged and mailed to Microsoft 3 separate times. That's ridiculous. Insanity. And then this is actually the final slide I have. So today, these are the systems that are the most new, I would say. So we got the PS5.
So I heard a rumor that the PS5 is not supposed to stand up like that.
That's a rumor I have also heard.
You're supposed to put it flat, but it looks cooler when you stand it up.
Number 1, it does. But also number 2, why sell a stand if it's not meant to do that?
Right.
Dum-dums.
Dum-dums.
So the PlayStation 5 actually has 2 different versions. The original, which is on the left of the picture, and then they also had a digital edition that released as well. Which instead of CDs, it's digital, is my understanding. Like, that's literally the only difference. You could see the difference physically with the slot for the CDs versus not. It did have a rocky release because of that as well, and I think it even had, if I remember correctly, wasn't this the console that had like overheating issues as well? There was something about it.
Because people were standing it up.
Oh, okay, so maybe that's why it was related.
Yeah.
So not great. And again, why would you sell the stupid stick? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
And then on the bottom, it's the Xbox S and X. Those are the newest that have come out from there. I have also seen, and hopefully people that own the Xboxes are aware, that Xbox is or has already discontinued all third-party remotes compatibility with the Xbox, so that now you are required to have Xbox exclusive remotes in order to play on the consoles. I don't know if that's accurate yet. I don't know if it's something that's coming down the line, but just be aware if you own one, that's what's happening. Xbox is pretty obsolete nowadays. We play it mostly because we enjoy going back to Diablo 3. Since Game Pass exists. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's that. Then the Switch actually has a new rendition as well, the OLED version, so it's supposed to have a little bit of a clearer image. It's, I think, even a little bit bigger than the original. I'm looking at the one that's in front of me right now. Oh yeah, and Soul Calibur, that was one of our favorites as well. But that one's the newest version of the Switch that's come out. And then Steam Deck, which is what you were reading about, Blair. It's not exactly this, but this is what the other handheld that they were referring to is. Steam Deck, with all the Steam games that you play on the PC, can be played with this handheld Steam Deck OLED. Basically looks like a giant chunky Switch.
Yeah, I don't like how all the buttons are on the top.
That too. It's a little awkward. I don't own it for various reasons, because all the other consoles and PC games are better and easier to use, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it does exist, so if you wanted to take essentially your computer games on the go, this would be a good opportunity to do that, if you're interested in that. And yeah, that's honestly all I had today. Pretty nostalgic, fun to go through and think about.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think I had the Game Boy SP in there, but that was the only one that was super fun.
Yeah,
for us.
it's in between the Game Boy Advance and the DS. It's like the little side console they decided to do. Yeah. Not console, but handheld thing.
The flip phone of gaming. It really was.
That's right.
The other thing was it was also backlit on its own, which made night gaming.
Yeah, because the Advance was not, and the DS hadn't come out yet, so it was backlit. Yeah.
Exactly. Revolutionary, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it got to the point where Chris and I were playing we were playing back and forth so much that we ended up getting maybe, I think it was a used one, so that we would each have our own.
Right. Yeah.
Stop fighting in the car rides or stuff like that with it, which makes sense. I would have
Indeed.
done the same. But nowadays, I don't even think we have all of the games we used to play. One of my favorite games was actually Snood, which I don't know that people know about, but it was very fun. And our whole family played it for a while. Any games that you liked in particular on the SP? Pokemon,
no.
Of course.
Did
you play the Lizzie McGuire game?
No. No, I did play a lot of the games on the Disney Channel website. Again, Philip had all the gaming stuff, right? And I didn't. Every once in a while I'd be like, "Oh yeah, let's play together," but
Yeah, that's fair.
It wasn't something. Well, and I would venture to say that gaming wasn't really marketed towards girls when we were growing up either.
Yeah.
Not that it needed to be or anything, but it just wasn't something that I was super interested in.
Yeah.
Philip was playing on it, so why would I fight him?
No, that's fair. I think the only girl-ish games I remember were Bratz, the Lizzie McGuire games. They had cats and dogs. I don't know that it was specifically marketed to girls necessarily, but of course there were the Sims cartridges that you could buy.
And that's one thing that I regret not getting into, because I think I would really like The Sims, and I'm considering starting that.
You should. It'd be so fun.
But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
You know what could be so cool? Maybe what we should do is one time, because I have The Sims 4, we could do a stream, maybe that isn't as orchestrated. Maybe we could do the history of Sims, and we could broadcast our desktops and be playing Sims together and building a house or something together.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we should maybe, I'll put that down. That might be something fun we could do. If you wanted to get into it and see what it was all about and just play around with it, it'd be fun to experience that together.
Okay. Yeah, that seems cool.
Okay.
We could do it.
So I'll make a new little screen, and we'll talk offline, of course, but Yeah, it'd be super fun to do that.
Cool.
Sims games were girl cracked. My friend owns Sims 3 and all DLC. She's a mad woman. I actually so here's the problem. Full disclosure, I have the original Sims 1 CD back in my bookcase. The problem is, from like Windows 10 on, there's a glitch where it won't let you load the game to install it. I've tried everything. And it's something about like the restrictions or something like that, but it won't let me play it. But I have it and I want to play it so bad and I can't because it won't let me download it. But that's so nostalgic as well.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and that's actually one that I think we got from our dad. Stole from our dad, received from our dad.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. But I do remember playing it at his house, and then suddenly it was at our house. Randomly.
Suddenly.
So strange.
Out of the blue.
So weird. I ran the numbers. I went to the Sims 3 store and searched for and got 3,100 results. I took the average of the first 50, 233 sim points. A sim point is worth 10 cents, so everything on the Sims 3 store costs approximately $74,000. As for the DLC, the game itself, the total is $439, so grand total is $74,926.31 to own everything the Sims 3 has to offer. That is insane. I'm on my way. I don't even think I have all the packs of the Sims 4. I have quite a few, but not nearly all of them. Because some of them I'm just not interested in. Like, they have the baby pack. I'm not interested in that.
No.
The parenting kit, not interested in that. I bought the extra animal packs, like the cats and dogs pack.
There you go.
I feel like that's more centered around what I would be interested in. But
Priorities.
Priorities. And with that, I'm gonna start our outro music. I
Sounds
just wanna be
good.
Friends with Death. You can be friends with Death. He's very amicable, I have heard. Whatever, that's a really long word. Can you believe that came out of my mouth on a day like today?
Shocked and appalled.
I don't think I used it right. Invite him to parties. I mean, he'd be a killer party guest. Enjoy the spaceport, Mom. Thank you, Miniel. I'm glad I used it correctly. That's all I have. That's all the energy I have, too.
Same.
Well, thanks for being here, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. That's what I feel. All right, deuces. No, thank you guys for stream. You guys make it fun. Baby Moose's favorite. It is his favorite board, isn't it? I always get worried I'm gonna get hit by a meteor on that board, which is very viable. It could happen. It has happened. Meet us in like 2 weeks for another stream about something else unnecessarily boring. And then also listen to our regular pods every Tuesday. I think this week.
Email us. Yeah. See us on TikTok. See us on the Instagram. YouTubes.
5 stars.
5 stars. On all streaming platforms.
Yeah. And I think this week's pod is on Boggs, and there's definitely nothing creepy or scary about it. Not spooky in the slightest. That's coming out on Tuesday.
Dead bodies. What? Who said that?
Okay, bye. Love you all so much. Don't giggle. Dead bodies, body. Not even murdered bodies. Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
I do not want another sacrifice. Is that from like the Madagascar movies?
So.
Thank you. I do not want another sacrifice. Do you want another sacrifice? Sacrifice.
Laura, are you breathing?